Hello, everyone. Welcome to SAT Math Question of the Day with Professor Emeritus Seth Chaiken at the University of Albany and his brother Joel Chaiken, here to do a SAT math problem and hopefully show you how to approach these things. First, Seth, I owe you a big apology for yesterday when I went a little bit too far laughing. I'm really sorry. That was uncalled for. We are the same family, and it's thankfully you can do things like that with family. I would never do that with anyone else. So you're special in that way.
That's what family is for. That's what makes it fun.
That makes it fun. I really apologize. I apologize. That was uncalled for. Well,
at least you didn't get a pie into my face.
No. We never did that. Although once you put soap in my mouth, I still remember that. Okay.
Zoom pie.
So. Anyway, I did something. I blew 2 days ago, and I really deserve to be punished for yesterday laughing so hard. So, Seth, why did you start?
I deserve to be punished for making such a dumb mistake. But at least what it does is show the kinds of mistakes you should not make.
Right.
When you're taking the SAT.
Yeah. Before we start, I just want to say one thing about humility. Math is unbelievable at bringing it down in terms and really increasing your humility, right? I mean, because there's an infinite number of ways to make a mistake. It's very humiliating to do math. That's the best way to say it. Okay, actually, I'm in a little rush today, so maybe the other day I was going to ask you what the biggest, stupidest mistake you've ever made in your life, but not today, because today we have to go. Okay, so think about that over the weekend. Maybe we can have a nice discussion Monday after we're done. Okay, as an after party. Okay, here we go. Sam,
well, one such mistake could be answering a question like that.
Okay, maybe that was the worst. That could have been the dumbest mistake you've ever made in your life, which would be really cool. Okay, anyway, so you want to take this one?
I don't know. Yeah, might as well. Okay,
and yeah.
The trouble is, I won't be able to draw anything.
Oh, so then maybe I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. An equation.
Well, I'll tell you. Maybe I could draw a parabola.
I mean, I can draw a parabola. Okay, fine. Okay, you want to do it? At least you understand.
Yeah, I drew a parabola, so you go on.
Okay, the equation above represents a parabola. Okay, so it's a parabola, which means it's a quadratic equation in the xy plane. Who cares about that? That's obvious. Which of the following equivalent forms of the equation displays the x-intercepts of the parabola as constants or coefficients? Right. This is an interesting question. You have to this is the SAT thing. You really have to understand something about a parabola. You have to understand the significance of the x-intercepts, and then you can do it. The x-intercepts, we should really draw the axes, right? The axes here, it's an upward-facing parabola, right? Because there's a positive sign there. And this may be drawn completely wrong, okay? This may be drawn completely wrong.
Yeah, so, that's good. Yes, positive.
Good enough.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So
let's see. If x equals 0, the value is 8, and so so the parabola goes below the x-axis.
Seth. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well, I don't know. Could you remind us what an x-intercept is?
An x-intercept is where the parabola hits the x-axis. It's essentially where the line y equals 0 crosses the parabola.
Okay.
That's it. That's essentially what you need to know. Knowing that, when y is equal to 0,
wouldn't the x-intercept be a value of x?
Yes. X-intercept is the value of x where the red line hits the y-axis.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, isn't that the same as a value of x for which y equals 0?
Yeah, the value of x where y is equal to 0. See, I made a mistake.
That is the same value of x where the parabola hits the x-axis.
Yeah. If I said the y-axis, I made a mistake because I can't tell my left from my right. Yeah. Sorry. So it's where the parabola hits the x-axis.
Yeah, or it might look like this.
Which is the
line. Or it might look like this.
Right, exactly, right. Yeah, not to scale. This is drawn not to scale. But see, this is the y. See, this is the y thing. So when y equals 0, that's where the that's where the parabola hits the x-axis.
All right.
So now you could look at this thing where so you can see that really when y equals 0, you can immediately tell that it hits the x-axis when x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 4, just by looking at it. And that's really the question, is basically just by looking at it, which equation tells you where the x-axis for which y is equal to 0.
Yeah, the equation, the form that displays the x-intercepts, one form that displays the x-intercepts is a form where a form that immediately demonstrates what values of x make y equal 0.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That's
basically it. They do want you to really understand the significance of the x-intercepts and what they really mean. This is definitely thinking graphic mode as opposed to table mode or algebraic mode. This is really
Okay. So this is a reminder, or perhaps a principle that you hadn't thought of. There's one form for parabolas is y equals a polynomial in second degree, an x squared term, an x term, and a constant term. Another form for a parabola is y equals a product. And we now have the principle that the form of a quadratic equation, a quadratic expression, a quadratic polynomial equals y. A form of that displays the x-intercepts is the form in which the quadratic expression is factored.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And so you could even write it down as a principle. Y equals x minus, say, a C1 times x minus C2 is the form for which C1 and C2 are the two x-intercepts. Right.
Good. Good. One thing I must say, I don't know if people do it. I mean, basically, if you want to listen to the after party, I have something else. So are we basically done? I just want to say something, but it's like after party stuff. Are we basically done here?
Okay. Now, how about?
Oh, not yet.
Yeah. Okay, how about what form of parabola displays the y-intercept?
My God, that one.
Yeah.
that one. You just put x equals 0, boom, you get it.
Oh, yeah. See that?
Yeah. By the way, that leads
cool.
into the thing I wanted to talk about, but maybe, are we done? Because what I'm talking about...
Yeah, we're done. Yeah,
okay, thanks everyone. Yeah. Please like us, dislike us, give us comments. If you have any specific SAT questions you want us to do, go to our email namesake, which is basically our namesake at gmail.com, SAT math question of the day at gmail.com. I have something, just a little after discussion about related to this. Actually, it's exactly related to this equation. So let me just tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, I said to myself, something doesn't make sense here. Shouldn't when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 8. So how does it hit the y-axis? If y is equal to 8, then how does it hit the x-axis? It confused me for a second. Believe it or not, it confused me, and I had to think about it. But I think you learn a lot, and I'll explain why it does. But if you're looking at a problem, look at it and ask yourself, does it make sense? And then stick with it and try to understand what your problem is in deciding this. Because there's a mistake I made here. So you know what? Do you see the mistake I made? I mean, I'll say the mistake I made. I thought about this, and it was driving me crazy. That's why maybe during the video you saw my eyes glaze over a little bit, because I was wondering, I don't understand this. It's plus 8. How come? How does it? It doesn't go like this. It can't go like this. It's a positive thing. Something's inconsistent. Then I realized, oh my God, it looks like that. But I
Yeah.
stuck with it. I stuck with it. I stuck with my confusion. I
Yeah.
stuck with it, and now I'm a little stronger of a thing. Now I won't make that mistake again. Stick with your confusion. Work it out. Okay. If something doesn't make sense, stick with it until you get it. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Stick with it till
Right.
you get it. Right?
That was good.
Stick with it till you get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little bit, it's backwards in terms of the X and the Y. The Y axis is the axis where X equals 0.
I made that mistake.
And the X axis is the axis in which Y equals 0.
Yeah.
Say what's confusing is that say on the X axis, we first think the X axis is where X varies. X varies along the X axis. Well, that's true. So we say the line itself is the line of all those varying X's. Not every one of them are all over the plane, but the ones for which Y equals 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think that's it.
someone like me, that's my left and right confused. I get my X and Y confused. You saw me do it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very confusing. It's huge. I don't even want to try to repeat what you just said, but it's very confusing. You got to really step back and think about it and maybe draw a little picture. Okay, enough said. Okay, well, take care, everyone, and have a good day.